Hey everyone, welcome back to Old Guy REI. I'm going to go back to 2019 where our journey restarted after losing our properties back in 2007, going through bankruptcy in 2010. Now it's 2019 and I'm learning the right way to invest in real estate. At the time I was 57, realized I didn't have any retirement at all and needed to make up as much ground as possible. Not to mention the fact that if something happened to me and I couldn't work, I'd have no way to support my family. Back then, Google and YouTube were pretty new to me, but I started there. In my search, I ran across people like Rose Hahn and Graham Stephan and Meet Kevin. They were all talking about growing retirement accounts through mutual funds and different things like that. But they were all pretty young, and I wasn't. So that didn't seem like the right path for me. Along the way in my search, I ran across BiggerPockets, and specifically an interview that Brandon Turner had with David Green. And at the time, David Green was a police officer, and he had started purchasing rentals as a way to get out of his job. And then further down the line, people like Allie Boone, who was a writer for BiggerPockets at the time, and she was talking about turnkey rental properties, which was a new concept to me. But in that, companies specifically back in the Midwest will buy distressed properties, they'll remodel them and put them up for sale for investors to purchase. And that seemed like a pretty good way to get started for us, because here in California things were a little bit too expensive for us to get rolling. So we went down the turnkey path and started learning about those and tried to get ourselves in position to make an offer and purchase one. We thought we have a down payment, we had good credit, so we started applying with lenders to get pre-qualified. And the first lender that we worked with told us that they couldn't work with us because our debt to income ratio was too high. And I had never heard of a debt to income ratio before, but ours was 48, and that's like the top of the limit. They like you to be down around 30 or 35 if possible. Debt to income is basically the formula the lenders use to see how likely you are to be able to pay back the debt you're taking on by trying to purchase the new property. In our case, we didn't have a lot of debt, not a lot of credit card bills or anything like that. It was basically just our mortgage on our primary residence. But the mistake I made over the years, like I think a lot of people do, is we try to write off as much as possible so that we pay as little in taxes as possible. And that made it seem like we didn't make very much money. And that's what the lenders see on your tax returns, is that bottom line. So we can get into that later, but eventually we had to start showing more income to be lendable, as they say. So I brought that information back to Allie, and some of the people that she worked with suggested that we try a different lender. So we did, and we ended up contacting Aaron Chapman, who owns Security National Mortgage in Southern California, maybe Arizona. And they qualified us right off the bat. So then we were in pretty good shape, and we were ready to start making offers. We started searching for properties. We found a few in Missouri. They were specifically in Independence, Kansas City, and St. Louis. There was one particular that seemed to make sense in Independence, Missouri. So we made an offer. The offer was accepted. We went under contract, and then from there, things started to maybe not go in a good direction. we ended up making the offer in winter time, and back there winter was pretty brutal, so it took them a long time to do the rehab and get it completed. And on that particular property, when the rehab was done, they let us know they couldn't sell it as a turnkey because they had put more money into it than they thought they were going to have to. And it turned out that they were going to put it on the regular market so they could get their money back. So we kept searching. The next few that we found fell through for one reason or another. Some of them, once we did our inspection, we didn't like the finish work that was being done by the turnkey company. Other ones didn't do much of a rehab at all. So that was a long journey. We didn't give up. So we kept looking and learning, and eventually a triplex came across our desk. It was the summer of 2020, and this property ended up being in St. Joseph, Missouri. And like I said, it was a triplex. They were 3 2-bedroom, 1-bath units, and the price to rent ratio made sense. So we dug in a little further, and we ended up purchasing it. And we still own that one today. There are several lessons to be learned, some mistakes and some other things that just happen that we're working our way through. And that's where hopefully we'll be able to help you avoid some of the things that we've come up against. I really look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks.